This is Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. Keep in mind that NFL free agency begins on Monday. So we'll be doing live shows anytime the Eagles make a signing, anytime they lose a player. We'll be keeping you up to date with all things Philadelphia Eagles right here on the show. So go Birds, E-A-G-L-E-S, a massive week coming up for this football team. Let's begin because we got this $500 super chat during our live show from Fight Songs 1. I don't believe that Fight Songs 1 has ever sent in a donation before. So for the first one to be $500, it's incredible. I want to hear from you. I want to interact with you, Fight Songs 1. So feel free to interact with me and hit me up because I want to say thank you personally. This coming in during our Thursday live show. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. We appreciate your support. And for those of you who are not watching live and you're watching this after the fact, you can still send in a donation by using the Super Thanks function. It's the heart icon with the $ right through it. Again, we appreciate all of your support. Let's go now to Alexander Harris with the $5 donation. Think the Eagles aren't making an offer on CJ Gardner-Johnson to see what the market is, or do you think that we're completely out of the race? If so, damn shame Howie. So you can't really say damn shame Howie because he was able to bring in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for basically nothing before the year. And during the preseason, it became pretty clear that the Eagles had a hole at that safety spot. And to get C.J. Gardner-Johnson by fleecing the Saints is one thing. But to envision that he can make the switch from nickel corner, where he played more than 1,100 snaps throughout his career, to safety, where he had only played a little more than 80 snaps, that's genius. But also on that same tune, I see where Alexander Harris is coming from. You gave up nothing to get C.J. Gardner-Johnson, so why not pay him now, especially because he's 25 years old, he's a dog, brings that swagger to this defense, and if they lose that, they're going to miss that heart and soul. And this is a franchise that has always had some really good safeties throughout my lifetime and even before that. But during my lifetime, the leaders on this defense have been guys like Brian Dawkins and Malcolm Jenkins. And now a guy like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I'm with you, Alex. I want to see him back. They might be wanting to see what the market is. I thought it was pretty telling that if they wanted him back, why not franchise tag him for $14 million? Do they believe that they can get him for less than that? Or do they think he's going to get more than that? If it's more, I think it's a foregone conclusion that he is gone. Adam Singleton, $5 super chat as well. It would be great if we get Odell Beckham Jr. Look, I'm to the point where I'm putting my poker chips in the middle of the table. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm going for it all once again. And if you're going to lose a couple of guys on defense, you better be sure that you can outscore a lot of opponents here in 2023, especially with the schedule that is going to get more difficult. And OBJ out of the slot with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert, how are you going to scheme up stopping this Eagles offense with all of those playmakers, especially if Jalen Hurts is able to take that next progression as a passer like he did this past season? So because we're talking a lot about free agency, I want you to chime in with this. Who is your dream Eagles free agency target? Share your thoughts with me. And as you venture down there, make sure you subscribe once again to Philadelphia Eagles Now. And if you are subbed, type real one so that we know. But NFL free agency starts on Monday. The Eagles figure to be active with either signing players but losing some. We're going to be bringing the heat. You don't want to miss it. And before we know it, this channel is going to be at 50,000 subscribers. Andrew Nathan. Any chance that the Eagles trade Slay so that they can sign James Bradberry and draft a rookie corner and draft two corners high, like when they drafted Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd? You know what's interesting, Andrew, is that the Eagles have not drafted a cornerback in the first round since Lito Shepherd out of Florida. He ended up being a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro. Sheldon Brown was great. The hit that he put on Reggie Bush in the Superdome, one of the best defensive moments in Eagles playoff history, even though that game went down as a gut-wrenching defeat with Jeff Garcia playing at quarterback. A lot of fans have proposed this. I've talked about it additionally on the show. Does it make financial sense to maybe do that? Darius Slay is owed a lot of money. He's 32 years old. Bradberry is younger. He'd be cheaper. So there wouldn't be a massive drop-off between Darius Slay and James Bradberry. I do think that Slay is the better player. But look, Slay wasn't an All-Pro this year. James Bradberry was a second-team All-Pro. So it makes financial sense, but for the Eagles, I think they're going to keep Darius Slay. They're going to draft a rookie corner either at number 10 or at number 30 to kind of reconstruct that defense. And they're going to have Milton Williams and potentially Jordan Davis starting at defensive tackle. Next up, it's one of our loyal subscribers. It is Ryan Rowe. Be like Ryan and have those notifications on because he's always among some of the first commenters on our shows. Any cornerback available on the free agency market to replace Darius Slay and upgrade the defense cornerback to get paid a good cheap deal. These are the top 10 free agent cornerbacks in 2023. You're probably going to be out of the running, Ryan, if you're talking about cheap options of a James Bradberry, Jamel Dean. But could you get Patrick Peterson for an affordable price? Could you get Cam Sutton for about $10 million per year? Byron Murphy might be in that category. An older Marcus Peters who's been injured a little bit. Emmanuel Mosley might actually get between 12 and 15 because before he tore his ACL, he was playing really well. I like Sean Murphy-Bunting. Rock Ya-Sin, speaking of Temple University and the Eagles continuing to fill out their staff with some Temple cats. Rock Ya-Sin, also a pretty solid player. Back to Ryan Rowe. That goes to answer your question right there. I don't think that they're going to replace Darius Slay. I think they're going to have him on this team here in 2023. It'll be the final year of his contract. He said that he loves playing with the Eagles and that he'd like to sign a contract extension, but are the Eagles going to be willing to pay him a lot of money considering his age? Darren Lee. What's up, D. Lee? I like Bijan Robinson, but what do you think our top target should be in the draft? So just going based off of how the Eagles build their rosters, offensive line, defensive line is how they like to build it. Obviously, they already have their quarterback, so throw that out of the window, right? So I think at number 10 and or at number 30, it's going to be a combination of either defensive tackle, edge rusher, or cornerback. It also would not surprise me if they go offensive tackle. Paris Johnson, the stud offensive tackle from Ohio State, did have an official draft visit with the Eagles. Lane Johnson has said that he only sees himself playing for a couple of more years. So could Paris Johnson be his replacement? And do you experiment with maybe letting Isaac Seumalo walk? You draft Paris Johnson, he plays right guard next year. Lane Johnson stays at right tackle. And then whenever Lane decides to hang it up, that's when you move Johnson back out to that right side. I think that could be a plan for the Eagles as well. Before we continue to take more of your questions, I'm really proud of the fact that the Eagles won the NFC. And if you want to support the Birds and them winning the NFC, knowing that they're going to raise up an NFC championship banner at Lincoln Financial Field, these conference champion shirts, they were $35, now on sale for just $17. Fanatics slashed that price in half just for us and for the Fly Eagles Fly family. But you have to use our link down below for that deal to apply. It's chatsports.com/EaglesNFC. Use it, get swagged up, swagged out, support your Birds, and celebrate them winning the NFC. Back to Andrew Nathan here. How do you feel about Garrett Williams, the cornerback? Solid player. Solid player. Yeah, like we said, the Eagles do have some questions at that cornerback position. So it's really going to be predicated on, okay, once James Bradberry leaves, what is the plan going to be? Are they going to replace him with the free agency corner, or is their plan going to be to replace him in the draft? Once free agency is up, let's say the Eagles do not sign a cornerback, then they'll probably shift their focus to the draft. GJ, which cornerback is your favorite? Devon Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr. It's a good question because this is a really good cornerback class. Then you have like Keely Ringo. That's a guy who you can throw into the mix here. I really like Joey Porter Jr. He ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. It was a little bit faster than what people had thought he was going to run at the NFL Scouting Combine. He tested a little bit better athletically. I like corners not who are burners. I like corners with good technique. I like corners with good ball skills, good awareness. I also like corners who are physical and still have the speed to keep up with some speedy wide receivers. And Porter's 40-yard dash showed that. But people try to tell me he doesn't have ball skills or ball awareness. This guy had 11 pass breakups and no touchdowns allowed, I believe, in coverage this past year at Penn State. He's also tall, lengthy, long arms to jam wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. But for Christian Gonzalez, 4.4 40-yard dash. We talked about a lot of these players earlier this week. Devon Witherspoon out of Illinois, he's getting some Darius Slay comps. I worry about him because he kind of came onto the scene late just this past season. It's not like he had production before that. John O'Malley, do you think that we get any safeties in free agency? I think that they bring back Marcus Epps for a pretty affordable price. If you lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, can you be in the running for any of these players? Probably not, because if you're not going to pay C.J. Gardner-Johnson, are you going to pay any of the other players on this list? In Jesse Bates, Jordan Poyer, Taylor Rapp, and Von Bell? Probably not. They're probably going to be too expensive as well. Josh Fever, we need Jahmyr Gibbs. I like him as a player. I really do. If the Eagles got him at number 30, I honestly might be fine with it, because you get him at 30, you have him because he's a first-round pick and that fifth-year option under team control for the next 4 or 5 years. I know that everybody's talking about Bijan Robinson at number 10, at number 30. I don't think he's lasting to number 30. He's too good of a football player for that, and I don't think the Eagles are going to take him at number 10. He's the best running back in this class and could be generational. I love Bijan's game. I think that he has elements to his game like Christian McCaffrey. But Jahmyr Gibbs, don't sleep on him as a dual threat back as well. A great and very talented pass catcher, a very good runner as well, who ran a lot in between the tackles at Alabama, also has that speed to get outside. Mr. Roddy Poo, it's a little too quiet for Howie, right? No such moves as restructures have been made, which I find very interesting. What is he cooking up? Now, we are recording this on Thursday, and I was talking earlier with my boy Harrison Graham. Is Friday going to be the news dump day across the NFL, where a lot of these contracts are restructured to open up cap space prior to Monday? Because it has to happen. They have to clear money off the books if they want to be active in free agency. And you're right, Howie Roseman has kind of been lurking. Howie Roseman has been moving like a tiger in the tall grass, stalking after its prey. And we know that every single offseason, Howie gets aggressive. So good point right there. Your level of confidence in Howie Roseman going into free agency, where is it at? 1 to 100. Let us know.